And welcome to Cage Chronicles. So here with Brown Sugar.
G'day.
How are we going?
Good, yourself?
Good. Just me and James to start with, and then we've got some guests on. I think the belt might give it away who's going to be coming on.
Yeah.
If he gets here on time.
Well, that's actually my belt, so hopefully he brings his belt with him.
He did say it was partly yours. So
it is. I think I actually, let's be honest, I probably helped him earn like one of these little buttons on the back of that belt.
I reckon that one that's fallen off. I think so.
Just a little tiny bit of help towards that, probably.
Yeah. I was the class tonight.
Yeah, class was good.
Yeah.
Leg locks, reverse X guard to saddle to leg locks from there.
Beautiful. Cool.
Leg lock Friday.
It's always just my favourite.
Yeah.
I need to get back in teaching.
It's mine now.
So won't talk about obviously Aldin's fight.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wait till he arrives. But we've had some questions come through, so I might deal with them first this week.
Aldin's on champ time now.
Yeah.
And his time management before was not great. So now it's definitely blown out now, I'd say.
Yeah. We might have another guest as well, but we'll see. We'll see who shows up. So we had a few people asking questions, and one of them, which was similar to what we've been asked sort of previously, but it was how to start competing and when you know you're ready. So what do you think about that one?
Well, this was actually something I was going to ask you, not on the podcast, but just in the gym in general. Recently, obviously, we've got heaps of fights coming up, and the SGTs coming up and stuff like that, and so people are putting their names down. But I was sort of thinking how early. We've had some guys compete like jiu-jitsu like pretty early, like pretty fresh. But how like fresh is too fresh? Would you say like someone's been training for say 1 month? Yeah, I'd say like let's call it like 1 to 2 months max, and they're wanting to like hit the competition mats. Is that kind of like too early? Because in terms of a white belt, you can have a white belt that's like day one, like there's some of them they've got literally no idea about anything, and you could have a white belt that's just about a blue belt, like could be a blue belt the next day,
stripe or something.
And then they're going to go against each other. Now, like obviously that real fresh white belt technically should get beaten, and probably handily by someone that's just about a blue belt. Is that going to crush their confidence? Are they going to get injured? Are they going to it's going to affect their training? Are they better off to wait maybe 6 months? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's a benefit to go too early. I think there's more negatives than positives. I mean, sometimes the guys have gone in, I think of a couple of guys who've gone from our gym, and it seems like they've only been training for like a couple of months, 3 months, and they've jumped into a comp, and they surprised me. They did really well. But they're sort of outliers. I mean, you're learning the technique, you're learning the basics, the foundations. You don't know how the mental capacity, what they're going to have. Like, remember, I don't know if you were there when Joe was training. Remember big Islander Joe? He fought on the MMA fight. He trained for 3 months. He trained for 3 months, but he was super athletic, super strong. And he'd done like a little bit before, and he was sort of ready within like 3 months, and he like won his fight in his first round.
Right.
But there's sort of outliers like that. But I think you need to build the foundations. I mean, who can start a new sport and pick up everything straight away? I think people roll in the class and think, do all right in this class, I really want to compete. And it's great they want to compete, but I think maybe like hold back a little bit and then like build those foundations. Yeah,
I think it's definitely a different, the competition is definitely different to rolling in class. So it's like I think some people will maybe be shocked at, especially you've got no idea, like you go to some of the white belt only comps, and sometimes you'll have a guy come in and he's just like going hell for leather, like just full turbo mode, and then like one of our students or whatever is just like, and then it turns into this like massive like scrappy like hectic fight, and you got to like try and calm your guy down, and then like go to technique. So you don't know what that other person's gonna bring. It's such a difference, even to the point of like the in gym quintets that we do. You see, like, some of the rolling there can get quite, like...
erratic,
and some of the subs can, like, they got... It's just a bit... It's that step further than just, like, rolling in class.
Yeah,
so,
but to explain to someone and say, this is what it's like to compete, it's very hard to explain. Because, like, you're going to be so nervous. the adrenaline's going to go. You're going to feel so much tired and go, man, I just roll for 10 rounds. It's like, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to roll for a couple of minutes and you're going to be gassed.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, that adrenaline's just going to hit you and they're going 100%. You know what I mean? So I think preparation, I mean, the competition class that you do, I think that's a good step to do before you jump into competition. If you think, I really want to do this, I see how I handle a competition class, put a bit of pressure, and then that in-house stuff's good. And then now you've got all these people watching you as well. So I think like similar to what I do like with the MMA guys or the Muay Thai, I'm like let's get our skills set up, let's do our sparring, let's see how we go with sparring. Now let's look at it into club sparring. And then once we get feeling comfortable there, maybe then we take a step to do the fighting. You know? I think the same for jiu-jitsu, really. So some guys will jump in. I don't want to put them off, but if they get beaten badly, then it's really going to put them off anyway.
And I think there's so many comps as well. It's like, why not just, you know, you can wait. It's when's the next comp sort of thing, like another 4 months away. It's like it just gets you that much more, like little bit. That makes a difference in that like white belt sort of stage, like that 4 to 6 months makes a huge difference. So, yeah, and then that gives you time to. So
I don't know. You probably realise this as well. There's some people in the gym, some reason that don't think they're very good, but they're really good. I'm like, you should be competing, and they're going, oh, I'm not quite ready or whatever. And there's other ones who are like, oh, I want to compete, I'm ready for it. And I'm like, you are not ready for the competition, you know. And it's just how you see yourself in your own mind. And you want that confidence. But you need to have, you need to have the skill set as well.
They just throw themselves straight into the fire, like, they're just, and you're like, what?
Phone is ringing. I'm just wondering if it is him. 2 seconds.
Take it live on air.
He could be outside. He could be on his way. Mr. Bates. So we'll see. We'll see when the champ gets here.
Okay. He hasn't messaged me.
It's ringing me then, but so I think. To me, it's like, let's build that foundation. And you never really know when you are ready, because I know when I was competing, I was like, I'm not fit enough. I'm not, my skill set's not quite there. I'm getting beat in this position and that position. You're not going to be perfect, but you want to be like trusting your coaches and go like, you're ready to compete. You got to believe in yourself when you do it as well. By the way, I've got a bit of a, chest infection or something. My throat's a bit funny today. Yeah, it's a bit croaky. I can hear myself now. So,
Oh, this is like torture we got headphones now, so gotta listen to myself for the whole thing. Oh my God.
No, this is the punishment you put people through.
I just feel like I sound like, mate. It's just like full nasal Aussie. That's what I do sound like, don't I?
That's exactly what you sound like. Yeah. Exactly. One of the other questions we had was balancing training around work and then family life and everything else. And then so like obviously when you competed last, how did you manage that? Obviously you were switching jobs, obviously coming to work full time. You got your kids, 2 kids, they're going to they're training, you're looking after them as well, and then you're trying to spend time with the missus, and plus your work and doing your paving as well. So how did you tackle all that?
I think it's really not easy. Something always like falls to the wayside, like whatever it is. I think one thing you got to think about is like there's a lot of like comparison, and so whatever spot you're in, you just can't get into that comparison of say someone who's like, maybe younger or like doesn't have a mortgage, doesn't have kids, doesn't have those extra obligations yet, and then like be caught up looking at them like they're training, they're getting up and they're doing like 2 sessions a day plus a gym session or something, and then they're like getting to like have a nap.
I think we proved you have naps. Your wife sent me a picture of you having a nap outside, so
I didn't even think about that then when I just said that. No, that's because that's not a nap. That's literally like.
It looked like you were curled up with the dog laying on.
That I wasn't going.
Put that photo in there, just in post.
I'll say.
I wasn't even going for a nap. That's how hard I go. I'm just non-stop. My body just shut down. So I didn't actually go out. I'm just gonna have a nice 20-minute nap. I just fell asleep. I don't even know what I was doing out there. I fell asleep. It was probably.
So what would you call that if you fell asleep for a short
and then I woke up. I was like, oh. what happened? And then Stace I went in and found her, and she's like, you've been asleep for like half an hour or something. I was like, what? No way. So,
did you feel refreshed?
Yeah, I think I did actually. It was quite nice, but I don't have naps. But yeah, so I think it's hard to like you just don't compare to anyone, and because people's situations are all completely different, right?
Yeah.
And I do know as well, like before I was like full-time coaching, and I'm like working 6 days a week of paving, trying to train and coach a little bit and then compete. And then the people I'm competing against at that time, some of them are like 10 years younger than me, and their job is a full-time coach. Yeah. And they're like, whatever, living at home. And so...
I'm not doing as many classes as you're doing.
Yeah, and so, it's like, so I was just like, I was like, man, like, it's just, it's like hard, like sometimes, like, even before when I've like competed, right, we're at SGT, we've got 16 people competing, and we're like running around like headless chooks, like every map, back and forwards. And then I'm trying to keep an eye on my match time. Yeah. And I'm like running, coaching. You're exhausted from that. You get so like depleted from the coaching. And then I'm trying to keep an eye on my match time, thinking about my match. Then all of a sudden it's like moving forward. And then I'm in the middle of coaching James Wong. I'm trying to tape my fingers, and I'm jumping, doing like star jumps on the side to get warmed up. Yeah. And then they're calling my name over the thing to go and compete. Meanwhile, my competitor has been like cruising around with his music on, like just getting in the zone, like full warming up. Yeah. So it's like that thing there. There's just like so by the time I like get to the mouth, like haven't warmed up, I'm rushed, I'm already stressed out, and I've already been like exhausted from running around. So
you're saying you're blaming me?
No, but at the end of the day, you just do what you can do. Yeah. And then that's it. It's like you can't compare, can you? You just got to worry about yourself.
A lot of people do. So like, obviously I get a lot of people saying to me in the gym, I want to compete, I want to get to this level, and they're going, but I've got this with this work, and I have this, I have to go to here, and I have to do this. And I'm like, well, it's what you got to deal with. You got to find a structure around that, because no one's going to be the same. How I used to compete when I had like a full-time job, compared to what you're doing is totally different. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just you have different amounts of times that you've got availability, but it's how you structure it. Some people like that sometimes looking for excuses why not to do it. Yeah. And it's like, well, if you really want to do it, you can do it, but you have to structure it, and maybe you can't do this now, or maybe you've got to like miss this out now. You know what I mean?
I think it's definitely easy to it's just easy to not do it. And I always say to the guys, I'm like, you don't have to do anything. Like, it's just like, that's what I mean. I say that to myself. I'm like, I don't have to compete. You don't have to compete. It's just like, no one like really cares. It's like up to you whether you want to compete or not. And if you are, then you try and do as much as you can and do the best as you can. But I don't let things like, I don't be like, oh, this guy's training all day and and I'm at work doing this, and I'm running around, and I've got the kids, and the kids get sick. I swear to God, every time I compete, the kids get sick, and then I don't get any sleep for like the week into it. But it's like, that's it. I didn't have to, if I don't go out there and step on the mat and compete, then my opponent might, like a few times, my opponent would have had no one to go against, because there's no one else. So I said this is like a bit of a point I said to George the other day. So George went and competed in the GI AFBJJ comp the other day, and he won gold, and he had only one match, and he beat the guy on points, got the gold medal. And so he comes back to the gym. I'm like, congratulations. And he's like, oh yeah, no, it was only one match. He doesn't want to be like, And I'm like, man, I was like, it doesn't matter if it was one match or 10 matches. I was like, you signed up, you went there, you stepped on where was everyone else? Like your weight class at a white belt, there's how many people in Perth training, probably thinking they're like legendary, probably thinking they can win or they can beat or talking whatever they're talking. And then when the actual thing happens, it's crickets, right? Yeah. So I said, it's not your fault that there wasn't 8 people for you to go against. Yeah. There's only one, just you and that other guy. And like, if you didn't go, he's got no one. Yeah. So I was like, you went, so you won the gold medal.
And he's got that experience now.
Yeah.
Like every time you go, even if you win or lose, you're getting that more experience. I'm saying that's why I do want in the jiu-jitsu, I do want people to compete more, and I want to do it like earlier. But obviously, what we were saying before with the other question, you have to have some kind of idea what you're doing, and you have to have some kind of fitness, and you have to have a mental fortitude to do it. You know. But yeah, everyone's completely different. The balancing act's the hard thing. It's just you end up doing too much of one thing when you're training, and you're not getting as much time. Your work's suffering, or you're not spending time with family and stuff. It's a hard one, and it's undue stress when you compete that you don't really want to have that stress. When you do it, you're like, I want to fight, I want to compete, and you do it, and you're like, oh man, this is so stressful.
Oh, yeah.
But then when you've done it, it's like the best thing ever. It's like it's so good. Like
it definitely weighs on you, because it's like in the back of your mind, everything you're doing. Yeah. It's just like on the back of your mind all the time. But I think, you just have to like sort of prioritize, like what's more important. And then maybe for that little period of time, it depending on the level as well of the, like, if it's a local tournament, you don't have to go into an 8-week camp to like, it's like you're there all the time. Just like be always well-rounded and ready, and then like jump in and compete. And then obviously the higher the stakes, like we're talking about at Aldin, the higher the stakes now, everything else is going to start to like drop off and like take a back seat, because now these things need to go priority, right?
If it wants to go to a certain level, you have to make it priority. It's only a matter of time. So so then like it just depends on the level of the thing that you're going for. I think like you can like you don't start cutting weight to like go to open mat on a Saturday and roll, you want to bet if you want to beat everyone, but you're not like cutting weight and like doing everything you can. So, but as it comes up higher and higher, then you start to like do more and more and more, and then that makes it harder and adds extra stress and time. Everything takes up so much time. So there's only so much that some people just aren't going to be able to make it work at a certain level, because they just can't juggle everything. Exactly. And then people like get disillusioned with it and go, oh, what's the point? I shouldn't do this anymore. But like one of the questions we had the other week was like when they're losing the motivation to train, but also losing the motivation to compete. I was thinking, when am I ever going to be ready? It was like, well, lots of things come into play, and there has to be consistency of training. There has to be some progression. So it just has to be like you have to be challenged a little bit, when you're doing stuff. And people like come into the gym thinking they want to compete, but there's something that they're missing. That they could compete 100%. There's most people who come in regardless of the skill set. It's just going to be different lengths of time for everyone. People go, how long does it take usually to compete? And I say, well, how long is a piece of string? Yeah. Like some people are athletic. Some people just pick things up really quickly. Some people have had experience before, but they were like kids, and it sort of like comes back to them really quickly. So there's all these things come into play, and then I think sometimes they'll see someone compete at an earlier stage, and they're well, this is the reason why. You know what I mean? They're very consistent with the training. They're just naturally gifted in what they're doing. The athletic person, you know what I mean? A couple of lads who are coming in for the MMA now, they're super athletic. Yeah. And I'm seeing them tapping out guys who are more experienced. I'm like, well, just some what they're given, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Some people just get it like pretty early, and they can just move good. Yeah. I think the other problem you have as well is like some people, so say it's just a local jiu-jitsu tournament. I have this a lot as well. The guy's like, I'm going to compete, blah, 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 date. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And they're like, I'm going to be like, it's going to be like 2 PTs a week. Yeah. 2 classes a day.
7 days a week.
And then I'm just like, man, you don't need to do that. I was like, it's not going to happen. And I've seen this happen, and guys still they've put that date there. Yeah. And now we're talking like 1.5, 2 years later, still haven't competed yet.
Because it's not perfect.
Exactly.
In the head, it's not perfect in the head. And I was the same. When I compete, I'd be like, oh, I need to do more of this and do more of that. And I'd probably end up doing more training. Mm-hmm. Some guys, you got to like say, wait, where you at? Get in the gym. But like, I'd do more than I should do. And then I was just fatiguing myself. Yeah. Then my immunity was going down. I was getting sick. And I would do that repeatedly because I'd be thinking, oh, I should be doing more pads. I should be doing more of this. Should be doing more of that. But there is a pros and cons to training too much. Yeah. You know what I mean? You go too far along and you train too much, it's just not going to benefit you at all. No. You're just going to be fatigued constantly. Mm-hmm. And then you come to sparring or you come to rolling and you're just getting smashed.
Yeah, and that's definitely like, so now the mindset I try to take with competing is like, just do it. Like, I'm just doing it. I'm like, I could be better at this, or I could be better at that, and I should be better at this, or maybe I should have done more of that. But now I just like, I'm not stepping into the cage in front of like X amount of people with someone trying to like kick my head off. Yeah. I'm just going in a jiu-jitsu comp. I roll every single day. So I'm just
look at that first SGT you went into. And you were like going to go on the Masters, and then you got put in the adults. Yeah. And then you were saying to me, oh, so-and-so, he competes all the time. Yeah. And I was like, you good, James? Like, you're going to do well? And you went in and then you won. And then you end up going against like bloody James Wong. Yeah. And then you had like, oh no, this is going to be terrible. And you had a really good fight.
I was so scared about it. Yeah. I nearly pulled out, because I was like, I hadn't competed in 7 years, and I thought, I'm just going Masters. I'll get another guy my age, and we'll just like a couple of matches, like best of 3, and then get the message the night before, you've been put in adults, 2 weight classes up. And I was like, what? And then your first match is James Wong, and I was like, what? Like, I'm like going on his Instagram, and he's just like this beast of a man. And I was like, he's like deadlifting 200 kilos for reps. Like, my 1 rep max I ever did was 200 kilos. I was like, I think the weekend before that comp, he had like a boxing fight, won that, went in a wrestling comp, won that. I was like, then he's like playing rugby the next day. I was like, I'm going to die. Like, Oldham was like, nah, man, you're going to be sweet. And then behind my back, he's talking to Joe. He's like, James is going to die.
We didn't die.
Nah, me and James went to a draw, and then Igor tapped me out, and then I tapped out Ryan. So
it was good. After
7 years, I know. So it was good. I had fun with it. Like, I just went there to enjoy the experience and get back into it. And it was a lot better than when I was previously competing, because when I was putting way too much pressure on myself, I perform way better now with putting less pressure on myself than I did back when I was like really trying.
So can I just ask, are we competing in Battlegrounds, the next one?
Yeah, I want to get on the next Battlegrounds.
What do you want to compete in?
Yeah, I'd like to compete in gi against a black belt in the gi if I can.
And who do you want?
Oh, I don't know. Well, whoever. Like, whoever's up.
No one out there you want to call out? You want to get that match going?
I don't want to call out anyone. Nah, just like. But I just want to leave it open. So I'm not saying not calling them out. I'm saying like, who would be a good... Put him on the spot.
No, I'm just saying, who would be a good competition for you? Or would you like to challenge yourself to compete against? There must be someone.
Well, I don't know. Just a black belt in the gi that's in my weight range.
Don't hold back.
I don't know who's like in Perth that's like in that level. Like,
you know the levels. Well, you know the people.
People keep on mentioning like Brenton Chong would be a good matchup for me.
That'd be a good one, yeah.
I don't know about Daz. Daz is a black belt, but I'm not sure on his weight. Yeah. So he's a good black belt in Perth. I don't know. I'm not sure who else there is.
Let's get one of these matches going. Yeah. Let's get it done.
Yeah, I want to crack in the gi against the black belt.
Yeah. You feel a bit more comfortable in the gi, you think? What do you reckon?
I think I like both and just do both easily, like either, but I feel like I edge towards the gi probably, Yeah. I feel like I'm probably a touch better in the gi than the no gi. Yeah. Yeah. Making me sweat.
I want to put you on the spot. All right.
Put me in the spot.
We're going to have a little bit of a break, and then hopefully we've got one of our guests coming on board. And we're back here with the champ, the Jamaican Warrior himself. How are we doing?
Very, very good, Steve. Thank you for having me on.
Well,
I've been waiting for some time now, if I'm honest.
People have been asking for a lot of people, and then eventually they said they wanted you on. So
I think I had to fight the best person in the country just to get on the podcast.
That's good. That's good. How are you feeling after the fight?
Good. Yeah, I feel really good. What is it now? It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. Body's starting to the body's healing a lot faster than what you remember last week, the week before. I'm so banged up. You're just like, I'm never gonna get through this.
So even that cut on your eye, it's like crazy healed, like straight away. Yeah, it was good. It was under your eye.
100%. Even now, I've got special scar tissue cream and like this silicone gel stuff where it'll stop it reopening in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's actually really good.
So for the guys who didn't see it, obviously Aldin fought John O'Macleaf, who was the Hex welterweight champion. Obviously, you were supposed to fight Rideout. That fight fell through, and then we managed to get that fight against Jono for the title, and he was like touted to be like the next big thing. He's a very good fighter, large athlete, like a large welterweight athlete. He's one of the bigger ones in the division.
Yeah.
Very skillful. Knew it would be a hell of a fight, and it was fight of the night. It was an absolutely amazing fight. What do you think about when you found out you're going to fight John, or what do you reckon?
So it was such mixed emotion. It was a Monday. I'm at work. I'm installing solar at work. I got you phoned me, Ben phoned me. I had missed calls, and I'm like the fact you both phoned me so close together. I'm like, this is not good. I need to quickly obviously finish what I'm doing and give you a phone back. And you just said, it's not confirmed, but you might not be fighting. Rideout looks like he's injured, but we're trying to get you a new opponent.
Yeah.
And at this level, you're not going to find someone in that time. 4 weeks, you might get someone, I don't know, that's not. You could fight someone for the sake of fighting, but it's not going to be the same title. It's not going to be one of the best in the country. So I just went into a full bit of a spiral of like just devastated, just like. You've trained so hard. We've been training. We've known about the fight since October.
Yeah.
So this is now coming the end of January. And I'm like, just pissed off. And then you got to remember, at the end of the day, that's the sport we're in. People are getting injured. And I just remember thinking, I'm gutted. I'm so gutted. And then I'm just, at work. And then...
that's why I was thinking, I need to get you a fight straight away. I can't wait till like mid-year.
No.
You were such a, you were on the point where it was just you were peaking. And it was like, I have to get you a fight right now. Yeah.
And I could hear that in the tone of your voice at the time. Like, we're going to do everything we can to get you a fight, a replacement going. And I was just thinking, we're not going to get it. You're like, stay trade. I remember that day, you go, this is funny, I didn't tell you this. The day that phone call, we're going to get you a fight, just keep training, keep as normal. And I'm like, I'm going to, of course I went straight to I went to the calf, went and had a big steak sandwich. I think I had 2 pints of cut. I'm not drank. I'm not eating.
What you said to me. You said to me, "Can I eat?" I was like,
"No,
you can't. You still cut away." And you're like, "Oh yeah, no, I shouldn't have asked that."
Yeah, exactly right.
Eating a steak.
I was. I hadn't eaten bread. Little thing like not having bread for so long. It's just such a treat. I remember. You said, "Don't eat anything good." I'm like, "Fight's off." I'm not fighting anyone to that caliber, so I went and had some food. And then, it seemed really fast turnaround. Obviously, I made a post to say the fight's off, opponent's injured, devastated. And I actually turned my phone off. I deleted my Instagram, my Facebook while I'm at work, because otherwise I keep checking it too much. So then by the time I turned it back on, which was what was it, a day or two later?
I think something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was pretty fast in between. And then, Jono had commented on what I had said just to say the fight's off.
What did he say again?
Yeah, word for word. I'm not sure word for word. He said something like, you need a dance partner, 2nd of March. Yeah. I'm ready. Yeah. So he basically, in a nice, polite way, he's like calling you out, saying, I'll fight you. I'm saying my fight's off. I'm devastated. Yeah. And he's like, I'll take the fight. I need a fight as well. So, I was just shocked. And then, to be honest, I didn't know him that well. He's kind of new on the scene. I knew his name popped up when he was fighting Luciano. So then I kind of scrambled to watch some tape on him.
Well, Luciano is the one. He's heading to UFC. He's the next one. And then obviously there's issues with the contracts with certain promotions and stuff. And then he got beat by Jono. And then he started like, who's this guy? Yeah. He's it wasn't a lucky punch or anything. He's manhandled him. Yeah. In my opinion, I think he convincingly beat him without being too harsh on Luciano. I think he got smoked, if I'm honest. That level, he was touted to be the number one eternal champion for a while. He'd beaten Rideout, he'd beaten Kevin Doucette, he'd beaten some of the best in the country. So it was all eyes on Luciano. But then the new guy came in, which is obviously John O'Micalev, and then he ran him over. So it was like, okay, eyes on this guy now. He's obviously legit. It's hard. You can't govern people if you've not seen them fight the best people. It's the same as Volkanovski recently when he lost his title. You don't know
you don't know how good someone is until you see them fight the top guys. You could be undefeated, but unless you're fighting the best guys, you never get that credit. You'll never get the...
Everyone says I can beat anyone, but then you don't know until you actually see him and you go, oh,
yeah,
well, as good as you say you are.
Yeah, exactly. So when I seen that fight against Luciano, you see him and you go, okay, well, Luciano's the number one in the country on paper, and he's beating some of the best. And then Jono, like I say, smoked him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Even to the point where I've been asking round and going, was Luciano injured or what was the go? He's either underestimated him, which is a good chance, and you're never going to know because that's only in his head.
Yeah.
Underestimated him, or he just came into the fight flat. And but then I looked at it and watched it a few times, and I think Styles and Jono was just better than him all round, stronger, fitter, better wrestling. If that's Luciano's game, and he's beating him at his own game, so it's like Jono he's a weapon. So it's kind of
he just seems to be all rounder.
Yeah. You can see
striking was good. He's finished people by knockouts.
Yeah,
he's finished people by submissions, and he's just like he's an athletic lad.
Yeah,
an athletic guy. You know.
Yeah,
so.
He's got a bit of everything, hasn't he? He's got the So
we locked that in.
Yeah.
No longer you're fighting in Perth. You're fighting in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And then obviously smash back into the training again. Now we're fighting a southpaw.
Yeah.
So there's all these things that take into play because you know what it's like when you start in your amateur career and you go out to fight someone and they come out in a southpaw stance. You go, oh shit,
you got no tape on.
It's like, oh no, this is the worst. So that's a total different game plan we had to do. But I think the stuff we worked on was really effective in that
short
exchange.
period of time.
Yeah. So talk us through the fight.
Just going back on that as well, the short period of time to plan for the southpaw. For me, that sometimes works better. You know, when I'm watching tape on Ride Out for months, and I'm watching him. I watch stuff like I do a bit of research, and I'll watch them talking naturally and watch them to see is he arrogant, is he confident, is he an introvert, is he an extrovert? Yeah. So I'm dialed in on Ride Out, and then that short period with Jono, I'm southpaw as well. I was like, it was just enough time where the stuff we worked on was just short, sharp combinations and hit the counter some of the stuff he's got. Can he keep up with some of the stuff I've got? So you done that perfect really with what we worked with in that, like I say, couple of weeks really. You take a week off for the kind of weight cutting stuff. So
because he had a lot of really good skill set, but there was some holes we've seen in his game. Certain things he did, especially with that lead hand and the way he moved and the way he circled off and stuff. So I think that most of the stuff worked really well, you know, but it's always hard in a short period of time.
Yeah. You don't know how it's going to work against him. The stuff that we worked on, some of it didn't even really, that's why I want to get back in there fast, because we worked on some stuff where I didn't even get to display it. It's kind of a case of going back to the the stuff we worked on was only a few combinations, a few weapons to add to the arsenal with the southpaw, with a big, strong southpaw. Yeah. And then, the stuff that worked, we just kept on going back to it because it kept on working. Yeah. So, I didn't get to, show the other stuff we'd been working on. So
I can't wait to get you back in there.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great. But if you talk us through the fight, because especially James wasn't in the corner then, he was over coaching in Perth. I'm sure he'd want to ask a few questions about the fight as well.
Yeah, so obviously devastated James couldn't be there. Obviously we wanted, that's one of the big things, because we've been working together quite a lot with, the thing with it, you don't want to give too much away, but you look at my record or you look at experience in fights, everyone thinks take him down, wrestle him, but we work on that more than on the striking, so it's kind of try it and see what happens, and that's where people get shocked, and you don't want to give away too much, but that's what it is. We work so much on.
Look at even just the simple positions that we work together. What James worked with you, just how to get out of certain positions to get back to your feet straight away. Yeah. And we knew you were going to get taken down at some point. Yeah. You know, it's very hard with a big guy coming at you with that wrestling skill set, but you were able to counteract that and not take too much damage and get back up. Obviously on the feet, you're both trading. That's where you took the damage mostly. But on the floor, obviously, jiu-jitsu looked heaps better. Yeah. Wrestling was good. And then your striking, you were a lot more patient, I thought.
That's the biggest word there, patience. Patience, that's where the experience, I think, comes in. Yeah. The advantage over fighting a 5-0, 4-0 fighter where you just patience. If I could go back and teach anybody, if I could show the young lads or give them some advice, listen to your coaches. They're there to help you. Have confidence in your coaching team, and just be patient with everything. Whether it's a pro title, national fight, whether it's a jits competition, whether it's just in the gym, just have patience. You're not going to be overnight celebrity. I keep getting memories coming up on my Facebook. I fought Jack Della 6 years ago, the first time I fought him. That same week I fought Nick Wood the same week 5 years ago. So I had my very first. March is a crazy time actually. I fought like some of my best fights in March. I had my very first fight in 2012, March 2012, and it all came up as memories. You forget 10 years ago, 10 years I had my first pro fight. So it's just patience. It's a key word, patience. If you can just drill that into people, you're never going to do anything.
But I think one big thing I took away from it, I was like trying to, I want like the guys to watch it and just take it on board, is that passion, that grind, that animal instinct to go for the finish that you've got, where some guys are very, very technical and they're just they just don't go for that kill, they just don't go for that finish, whereas you don't have to tell you. You have to hold you back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as you see his weakness, even in that fight, you got hit with a knee to the face, and sure it totally hurt you. And I don't know why Jono didn't really come in for the kill as much as he should have done. He went for a takedown. Yeah. And that was the best thing he could have done. Yeah. Really. But you wouldn't have let someone get away with that. You would have like gone for the kill, you know?
So I think with that though, for me, I see you hurt. I always want to finish fights, and if I can finish with my hands, that's what I feel like my strongest weapons. I feel like his game plan was to wrestle you and submit you. He kept on going for submissions that wasn't really there. So when he hurt me, he was like, now's the chance to take him down and submit him.
I was surprised how he was going for them submissions. I'm thinking, why is he not punishing you on top? But that's,
I think unless like Aldin, you look at Aldin's record, it's just like knockout. Like
no, but even on the ground, get him down. You can get him down. Okay, let's work some damage. Like he did a couple of times. He was on the top and he was throwing the elbows and stuff like that or whatever. But you were constantly moving, trying to get off balance and get back to your feet. But like
what I'm saying,
I would thought it would have been like just like.
But maybe he didn't expect Aldin to be able to like mitigate that ground game as much as he did. Like maybe he was trying to come in.
But then, I don't think the improvements that you've shown was over the last 3 fights has been pretty amazing.
Yeah.
To us though, not exactly what James is saying there. Like I said, I do a lot of research. I'm watching my own fights back, trying to reverse engineer it, going, if I'm fighting against me, how do we come up against you? And if you go, say, back to the Varkey fight...
Just jump to guard.
Basically, yeah. You see the Varkey.
Yeah.
It's a different style, different fight, an Olympic-level wrestler.
Yeah.
But I'm holding him. I'm watching that going, you look like you don't know what you're doing on the ground. I've got no submission. I've got no... attack. I've got no offense while Varkey's on top of me. Yeah. So I'd be watching that thinking, he just doesn't have jiu-jitsu. I'm going to take him down and I'm going to submit him. I think that's what his game plan was. Yeah. He was trying to soften you up a little bit, but this is what we spoke about, James. Don't jump to stuff too early. Settle. If you get a position, don't panic. Settle. Yeah. You take his back. Settle. He's not getting. If you get your hooks
on top, you're winning the fight.
Exactly. So he would try and soften you up and then finish you with submissions too early in my kind of. So I honestly think he's underestimating your jiu-jitsu and your grappling. So obviously we worked on that kind of more than we did the striking. We had our set combos, southpaw, rangy, power. It's kind of in the bank a little bit. We sharpen that, but it's kind of the jiu-jitsu is we're not trying to learn new techniques and moves, but just sharpen them little bits, little things like we worked on, James, taking your back, the 2 hands on the one, straightening the arm out, a little thing like that. I was just like, wow, I always try and bend the arm, I try and bend like elbow down and to put force to come out, and you're like, now if you pull it, just a little bit of a change, you're like, okay, little things work. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just there's new stuff coming out as well, but just sharpen them little bits up. So
and the fact that what impressed me so much was the listening from the corner as well. Yeah, like you listened so well, like everything I'd say, you were like, you could see it almost like talking to me, like, and I'm gonna I'm gonna do it straight away. I'm gonna take him back to the cage. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And you could see the listening. And like we're having this, it was great. A lot of the jiu-jitsu stuff was in our corner.
Yeah.
Because we're having this back and forth.
Yeah.
In the corner, and like you got the Kimura, and you're like, you're all right, you're not too bad. You're like, yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah. And we've not even spoke about this. We've not even had a good chat about it. If I broke down, like say me and you sitting down.
Yeah.
I was circling him. That's another experience. I was fully like circling out, so he would follow me and then walking back into my corner. I've done it at least 3 or 4 times where you talk about like working out where you are in the cage, and obviously speaking to you don't back yourself up. Obviously, once you're back against the cage, so it's a certain thing. There's like funny little techniques where people touch hands in the middle in the beginning, and you can just make them walk where you want them to walk. If you just swap positions. Yeah. People do that in sparring, and then you forget in a fight, you swap positions. Now I'm in your corner. If I back you up, little funny things where, like you say, that being in the corner with you just calms down a little bit, where you're not screaming. I can hear your voice. I heard your voice throughout the whole fight, but when you're at the other side and you're shouting loud, I can hear the emphasis or it's not panic, but when I was close to you, you remind me of like John Danaher when he's like all slow and like, listen here, Aldin Bates, you're in no danger. Aldin Bates, please just relax. And I'm like, shit, I'm good. He's trying to twist my arm off, and I'm like, we good? It's like if I'd have been in the other corner and you're screaming at me, then it makes me panic a little bit. So it's
but there's no other way to get that across.
No, of course not. You shout. You have to try doing that. Aldin, like whispering. He's gonna break your arm. But it's got the listening and the patience and just having faith. We've trained together for a long time now. We've been coaching and training and been around each other, but just having just listen to what you're being told. We've all got the same.
At the end of the day, I said, you guys are in there. You're gonna do your thing. Like do your thing. Don't fight the way you're gonna fight. We're just on the outside, and we're just gonna see stuff. I always think about playing a video game. You're in the game. You're so close in the action, and I'm looking from the outside playing it. I'm looking like a movie. And I'm like, I can see everything. You're so close up, it's just all pixelated. And it's just responsive, you know what I mean? And you might not see something like, oh, his arm's out. Oh, I'm going to grab his arm. So that's why, if you have that faith, it took me a while when I first started doing Thai boxing fights with my coach to trust him, because he would shout stuff, I could hear him. And I'm like, nah, the other guys heard as well. I started second guessing myself. But then I started trusting him, and they'd be like going, whatever, left jab, head kick, whatever. And I'd do it, and I'd be like, oh, I'm landing it. What the hell? And I was like, because he's watching. He's outside. And he's like, knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? So, would you think, any questions about the fight?
I mean,
we talk all the time.
we spoke about it on the podcast last time, and I spoke to Aldin on the phone afterwards, so we sort of went through everything and broke it down. But, I mean, I was like, I watched it live on the phone while we're at Battleground, so I'd finished cornering Sam, then we watched it live, and no commentary or anything, so we were just watching, and then I was like, I had to message you after, or you rang me after, and I spoke to you, and I was like, of course there was heaps of grappling while I'm not in the corner, of course, like the last one like touched the floor for a second, and like Courtney's fight, like, you know, and then I was like, of course it was a big, like, it was everything happening. But, when I was, like, watching it, I was like, obviously I was, like, hyper-focused on all the ground stuff and everything we'd been working on and thinking about that sort of thing. And then I'm, like, seeing you in these positions, and I'm remembering back to, like, what we've been doing and the conversations we've had, and I'm thinking, like, is he going to think, like, what's he going to think here? What's he going to do? And then I was just, like, sweet, he's got this, he's got that, and then to like actually, like you said, like you never see your grappling in a fight, and then like to actually get to see it, and both ways, like Jono's taking you down, getting back to your feet, then he's taking you down, throwing on submissions, you're escaping submissions, then you were throwing on submissions, like you got to the back, like
guillotine.
Guillotine,
good sweeps as well, some sweeps in there.
The sweep from the Kimura.
And then the Kimura, like obviously. And we spoke about this on the last podcast, but Jono had that Kimura from bottom mount. Now, you know, lesser experienced people would probably step off if that was like really talking on. But Jono wanted, that's what he wanted. He wanted you to get off and then keep that Kimura. Now you can actually do something with it while you're on top. And then, like, obviously, Steve's, like, right there in your corner. Like, I think I could see Steve right there, actually.
I think from that position there, he was so close to the cage. If he'd swept him with a Kimura, you were like, oh, it hurts, I'm going to go off. I think he would have abandoned the Kimura because of the position.
And then just got into a scramble or something, trying to pin him against the cage. So, I mean, it was just like, and he sort of, like you said, it was like, we worked on just like, you already can do jiu-jitsu, right? And then it's just like tightening things up, adding little things in, just trying to like, not like trying, you don't need like a lot. It's just like, it's that. And then not only that, it's that patience on top of that. Yes. So instead of like, you get in that Kimura from bottom mount and then you're like, and then jump off or something, it's like, let's just like chill, think this through, what's happening, listen to Steve, and then go from there. It's like, it was really impressive. So
it's crazy because you're talking about the patience with the Kimura or the head and arms. In the moment, it feels like it's so slow but it's happening so fast as well. Like, he felt like he had the Kimura on for minutes. I'm like, I'm sat here for so long, but what is going on? When you watch it back, you go, it's not even that long. So like, everything's going so fast. Just have patience. Just obviously you want to be ferocious and aggressive, but have patience as well. It's a tough. That's what you're saying. Like, where'd you get it from? Like, my natural is to be aggressive. My natural lifestyle is, if you come at me with aggression, my natural reaction is to come with aggression. So it's kind of trying to pull that back, especially in jiu-jitsu, because so everything you attack me, I always think my best defense is offense, and it does work in jiu-jitsu, but patience on top of that. So it's kind of, if I just attack off an attack, that's where jiu-jitsu is like the body chess match, where you want me to attack straight away and to give you something stronger, where the head and arm wasn't on at all, but he could easily mount you and start smashing you. But the fact that we're just being patient, I'm not panicking, I'm not flapping around. I get into a position now where, in that position, say for example the head and arm, I just concentrate on breathing. Don't give him anything to readjust and make it tighter, but just breathe. I could hear him panicking.
And I agree with all that. But how the hell did you power out of that head and arm?
Twice.
Twice. I was like, what the?
Well, you were on bottom, he was on top, and then you've rolled to top. Now, he can finish the head and arm from bottom, because Rod Costa actually finished his last fight in Eternal with the head and arm from bottom. Yeah, it can happen, but obviously once you get to top, it's a lot harder to finish a head and arm from off the bottom. So once
you're talking if I'm on top of
you rolled, he still had the head and arm. He can finish that from the bottom, but
I don't know.
You like I think you just like, well, it's going to be a lot harder for him to finish it from the bottom. So, well, when Costa actually finished his, he said on the mic afterwards, he said, never. Head and arm from the bottom doesn't even exist. You can't even do it. But he just submitted it for the belt, right? So he's like sort of like tongue in cheek. Like, you wouldn't, it's like real hard. You can do it, but so you rolled to the top. So now it's harder for him there. You had your arm out, and then did you just like backstroke?
Backstroke, twice.
Yeah, twice. Yeah.
It's kind of obviously what we're working on. We know the danger when you're in a dangerous position. If your arm bar stretched out, that's the danger of you snapping your elbow's going to break. There's bone. There's maybe a possible 6 months out. But like head and arm, I'm like, I will fight this until I'm asleep. Wow, yeah. Kimura, I know the range and the strength I have in different ranges. I've been telling, I think I had at least 30% more range before anything would pop. Yeah. And you're in that zone. Like, I'm not trying to act like a tough guy, but I'm going to let it pop in a title fight. We just saw on the weekend people fighting with broken arms and winning fights. There's nothing worse. He's absolute savage. Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's what the stakes we're at. We're not here to play around. It's not a game of bloody tea and biscuits. We're fighting for titles. We're fighting for your life, kind of thing. And that's where you don't want to be too animalistic. But I'm not fighting for my life, but that's the difference. I think you were saying, to touch on earlier, the young guys. I hear some of the guys in the gym or in different gyms when they're planning their future so far ahead. And I'm going to do this and that. When I'm in there, I'm fighting for my life.
Yeah.
I build myself up. I spoke to this about with Ashby and some other guys, and you get away from it's a fight and it's I'm going to fight in a few months. I'm going to do this right now in this moment. Your life is at stake in the sense of I don't think you're going to die, but I can tell you now, I've won fights, I've knocked people out, and I've been knocked out. And being knocked out and seeing that tape all the time is mentally draining. Yeah. I don't care how good you are, Aldo McGregor, that eats away at him. Yeah. I can tell you now. Do you ever remember a guy, he's a Scouse guy, got a spinning heel, kicked him
against Barbosa.
Yeah, Barbosa, I know him personally. I know guys that know him, and he had a mental breakdown from that. He's never recovered his life.
It's a highlight reel now, so it's going to be shown the whole time.
So it's kind of, you're not going to die, but it's your life at the end of the day.
Well, I've been knocked out once in a fight that was on national TV in England, and I was devastated for months. I was absolutely devastated. I couldn't get my head around it. What had happened? I didn't remember getting in the ring. There was that bad of a concussion. But like once obviously time goes by, it's not as bad. But back in the day, it's on TV. It's not on the internet. So then, like, if someone's on the internet,
VHS
the whole time. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what it is. But we're gonna have to take a quick break. We'll come back with Aldin. And we've got another guest coming in as well. But we'll have a little break now because we're just running over time. And we're back. We've got one extra now. Big boy on the end.
Sorry I was late. I was just searching for Jono's mouth guard.
Here we go. Come straight into it. It did go missing, but yeah.
Did they find it? It went
Yeah,
fine.
they found
Oh, okay.
Hashtag gobsmacked sponsorship. Just
I thought you might have found it when you fell over and ripped your pants. So actually.
Do you want to quickly talk about that, Ashby, or no?
We'll take this offline.
So we were just talking to Aldin about the fight. We're breaking it down a little bit. We're just saying about how obviously high level fight, back and forth, how his jiu-jitsu's improved, and obviously his striking was a lot more patient in the fight. And then I was just going to wondering, was that the hardest fight you've ever had, or not? Or would you say Nick Wood was the hardest fight?
There you go, Nick Wood, yeah. Nick Wood, because I'd actually fought Nick Wood when I first moved to Australia, and I got knocked out by him. So it was a big, what's the saying, like, elephant in the room, monkey on your back, kind of. I remember saying to a few people at the time, this was at the peak of kind of coming up, and I remember saying, if I lose, like in my head when I was, 6 years ago it was, I'm going to be the best in Perth, I'm going to be the best in Melbourne over East, I'm going to be the best in Australia, then I want to go over to America, fight in America, I want to fight in Europe. I remember saying to only a few people really close to me at the time, if I can't beat Nick Wood, he's the best in Perth. If I can't beat him, I'm not fighting anymore. I'm not just going to fight for the sake of fighting. So it was kind of, I have to beat him. And he came with so, obviously we knew at the time, he was like flatlining everybody. People were scared to fight him. Yeah. So it was kind of, you have to beat him. You have to beat him. You have to beat him convincingly. And both, same kind of fight in the sense of we're both taking damage, but I put more pressure on myself then than I did with this one. This one was the biggest fight, hardest fight in the sense of title, like Australian title, little thing southpaw, last minute replacement. There was
Do you
more.
think the pressure affected you?
For this fight?
Yes.
In a positive way.
Oh, you think
yeah,
so?
I know so.
Obviously,
it's
a good performance, but I just didn't know what you were feeling.
Yeah, it affected me in the sense of the fear of not wanting to lose and knowing how good he is. I've never. Well, I'll say that I've very rarely underestimated any opponents in my personal fighting career, but I had to, in my head, have everything work out perfect to make it a fair fight. Yeah. If the weight cut went wrong, not a chance you're doing that in the fourth round.
Yeah, no.
If
We've never been in the 4th round before.
It's the first human being I've seen the same size as you, mate.
That's another one.
never happened.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
That's such a good point that is, where that's always been my advantage of being able to have such good weight management and team around us where we can, I've never missed weight in a fight in my life. I see some high level guys around Perth now and people are missing weight left, right and centre, but obviously we take it very professional. They make the rules, we work around it. So to have someone come in same size, if not a bit bigger, whatever it is, bigger, stronger, younger, that's all factors. That's not excuses. Or obviously we got to the level we've said many times, we're not scared of anybody, but you've got to take that into a factor of you're not gonna ragdoll him, you're not gonna muscle out of anything. In my head I'm like, you're not gonna muscle out of anything. There's no advantage in that sense of it, and it's always kind of been an advantage over the years. Obviously, for the weight cut, I put a lot into that so that you can have that little bit of, you're normally stronger. So my fitness has always been on point, but you're normally a little bit stronger. So without having to rely on that, in this fight, it was evened out, cancelled out even. So
because that was the thing coming into it, because he's been in a 5-round fight before. You hadn't been in a 5-round fight, and then
I've never been to the 5th round.
That's what I'm saying. But you haven't been in the 5th
yeah.
round. But then seeing you guys at the end of the 3rd round, both struggled to get off the floor.
Yeah.
You know, like I was like, whoa, what's going to happen in this 4th round here? It's who wants it more.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll interject on that one. I think as one of your closest mates, I can tell you that needs to notify you that you might need to work on your fitness with all due respect, because sometimes it's not going to, I mean, you've knocked out majority of your opponents, but sometimes it's going to go the 4th round. And I saw you I'm not going to say you're struggling, but you need to get used to that 4th round. Like, fitness needs to be a thing. When you have a war with people at your level that you're fighting at, you need to be fully prepared to go to war for 5 rounds, which I know you are. But I just wanted to interject and say, like, fitness plays a massive role in that.
Oh, it does massive.
I'd say most.
Especially when you're getting hit.
Exactly.
When you're getting hit and throwing shots.
So you were
when
both
you get
gassed.
rocked,
So
both got rocked.
It was literally Steve was shouting, like, you need to dig deep. Who's going to dig deeper?
Yeah.
Like, you need to dig deep.
I don't even think it's a factor. I completely agree with you. Fitness is, in my head, the most important driving factor to fighting, to sports in general. High-level sport, fitness is your number one that you should be concentrating on. So, obviously, interjecting is correct what you're saying. There was no point in the fight. I've never gassed in any fight. Gassed. It's a funny term, but it's kind of... We were doing Shark Tanks, building up to the fight with fresh people. There was 2 weeks ago, actually 2 weeks before that, do you remember, where round 2, I was done, and there was new people coming in every time, and it's a mental battle where I was gassing in the gym, but in the fight, there's not new people coming in every time. So I am obviously you can't red line. I work off your heart rate. I monitor my heart rate so much. As soon as you hit that 90% of your maximum, you cannot bring that back down fast. Normally, you can bring your heart rate back down within 20, 30 seconds if you control. But when it goes past that, it takes minutes to bring it back. But if someone's coming at you with ferocity, trying to take your head off, you can't relax. You have to match it. So that's where, like you said, we're both getting off the floor. He's matching me, I'm matching him. There's no way. If he takes his foot off and tries to rest, I'm gonna run through him. If I take my foot off, I'm rest. Oh wow, I'm getting my cardio back, getting everything back. But you're knocked out because he's coming at you with venom. So it's kind of like, it's not a case of gassing. It's not wasting energy more than gassing. I'm matching him and just trying to stay ahead. If I feel him ease off, I'm gonna bring my heart rate down. There's times where we're working on feints and just in and out where I'm fully resting. When he's taking me down with head and arm, I'm breathing, that's an experience thing. Instead of panicking, just breathe. If you're not being submitted, you're not taking big power punches, just breathe. It's so important. And like you said, working on your fitness is important, which is, like I said, number one. Without fitness, you've got nothing. You could be the best kickboxer. Without fitness.
You can't utilise that if you're unfit.
100%.
Skilled as you
But then,
but if you can't
just to
utilise
interject, as Ashby likes to say, I would say, wouldn't you say then the mental thing is the biggest impact? Because both guys are going to be incredibly fit. You're both going to be trying to push each other to your absolute limits. So then it's who can still be fucking gassed and still go.
Yeah. It's a bit of poker face. Like I was saying to Sam earlier, there's times where you're getting hit and I'm in pain and I'm in my head, I'm wincing and I'm like, look like I'm in pain. I watch the tape back and you've got like a serial killer look on your face.
Yeah,
my brain is like in panic mode and my heart rate, I've worked so long, I know where my heart rate is, I know where I'm at with the 80%, 90%, but in my head, I'm panicking, I'm all over the place.
The only point in that fight where I knew you were hurt was that knee.
Yeah.
Because you
On that note, Aldin, can you run us through when you almost rearranged your face with that knee?
I think you did, mate.
I think the viewers would love to know how you felt when you got hit with that knee.
Scarred me for life.
Give us a rundown.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So there's a jiu-jitsu. I'm being very relaxed with the. He's kind of he's took you back. He's walking you forward. I'm fighting the hands, but I'm leaning over. He's kneed me. He's pushed past me on my left hand side and kneed me so hard. I fought for a split second. I died. I thought my whole life ran through my body. I swear to God.
We all thought you'd died.
I thought my feet came off the ground. I was like, what the fuck has he just done to me? I didn't even know what it was. I felt surrounded. I was like, who am I fighting? What's going on? It's that baseball bat. What was it? And then that's the thing. The whole fight. I always try to. I say to the boys, poker face. Don't show. If I see you're hurt, I'm gonna come in for the kill. I was holding my head, holding my face where he'd need me. In my head, I'm like, there's tears coming out. I'm shaking. But obviously on the tape, it's still bad. If you touch where you hurt, that's a telltale sign of, you're in trouble. So you shouldn't be doing that ever. But I thought I was out. I thought the fight was over. He hit me that hard. Didn't drop. Obviously, Steve, because I'm so hard.
I know.
I was just concerned you wouldn't be as good looking anymore.
Well, there's that. Obviously, my modelling career has been put on hold for a few weeks anyway, at least.
Just doing hand mumbling.
Yeah, pretty much feet and hands that we're doing at the moment. Just no headshots.
Some messed up feet, mate. Don't lie.
Crusty feet. No. The thing with it, you learn. This is an experience one as well. When you get hit with a big shot, when you get hit with a big submission, you get hit with someone attacks you, you take that on and go, I'm still 37 years old, I'm still a child at heart. You fucking hit me with a big knee, I'm going to hit you back with a big knee. Yeah. I'm like, that hurt me so bad. Wait till you eat one of mine. And if you look in the fight, I caught him with a big knee as well. Obviously, we don't know, do you? 'Cause you don't get to hear what their side of it. But I remember I blasted, I've got some beautiful pictures of, like, HD pictures of me blasting him with a knee. Yeah. And I know how much that hurt me, so I'm kind of, it's just a painful shot where we've got so many weapons. We work on so much knee, like combination stuff, finishing, coming in,
one
finishing.
You just missed him. That one when he came up, that would have been a finisher, I think.
Yeah.
Just missed him. I was like,
Not to forget that second round, don't get the elbows. I saw you land a few elbows.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how you got cut. I was screaming to Steve. I was like, he fucking landed the elbows.
Yeah.
How's he not cut? Like, you landed some clean elbows in that second round.
It's what can we say, isn't it? The small bit of time we had, we worked on some stuff. Like even me and Ashby, me and James, everything seemed to come together. We'd been working on them Kimuras the last 2 weeks of that fight. Kimuras,
inside leg kicks.
Yeah. All right, Ashby. Bloody hell, he comes out, he fucking takes over, doesn't he? You'll get your shine. But that's true though. That's what, like, obviously Steve's the captain of the ship. The little time we get to spend with James, little time with Ashby, we drilled that inside leg kick. And you just come up with it, like, Ashby comes across, he goes, listen, I'm inexperienced and I don't want to tell you anything what to do, but this is what I would do. I'm like, I'm all ears, mate. You don't need to say your little speech before that, your little spiel of who you are and what you're doing. Just tell me what you know, and we that's the more experienced guys. You're Ashby's the highest level Muay Thai trainer, coach, teammate I've got. So anything he knows, we will try and use. James is the highest jiu-jitsu coach, teammate, friend I've got. Anything you know, there's no, it might not work, it might. You listen. When I was younger, maybe you go, nah, I'm just going to land right hands and bombs and blah, blah, blah. But you learn, you take that little bit from each person. Steve's got so much knowledge. You've got so much knowledge, but little time. So we've got to use the time well. Same with all us, really. We've not got that much time, but inside leg kick possibly won the fight. The Kimura defense possibly won the fight. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the little bits you can carry over is the little bits of gold that you don't think is much when you're at the level of national title fights,
Yeah.
they make the difference.
Yeah.
Same with, like Robin was saying, with the you cardio. If we had the exact same cardio, I can tell you now, I bet he wasn't thinking he's going to die. I'm thinking, you're trying to kill me. You're trying to take away everything I've built from my family, from my friends, from my team. You're trying to take that away from me. I'm going to do everything in my power to end you.
Yeah.
Kind of without going too.
It's just that it's how to train that into people as well. You know what I mean?
It's
Like how
difficult. Yeah.
Is it like a few things there? When I was watching the fight live, I was I remember like in those few weeks, you only had a few weeks. Obviously, you've got like Steve's your head coach. He's putting the whole game plan together, and you guys are working on everything you're working on. And then you're like messaging me going, James, can you come in today? I really want to work on this. And I was like, the difference between like in the last few years, like I remember talking to you like you before in the past in the gym, and I could tell that you're like kind of listening to me, but you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna knock him out. Like when you're gonna have a fight, like I'm trying to like tell you about like you do use this jiu-jitsu for this or whatever, and you're like yeah, but in your head you're like, I'm gonna stand and bang sort of thing. And then this time the difference was like massive. Like I'm getting messages from you going, I think that this is gonna happen. I want to work on this. Can you come in? Can we work on this? And I was like, yeah, cool. So you're actually telling me what you wanted, and then we're working on it. And then we go sort of like a bit off here, a bit off there, pick up a few other things, tighten up. I noticed some things that you're doing, and we did that. And then when I watched the fight, I was like, he said, this is exactly what you asked to work on. Like what is happening right now is exactly what we worked on, because you were like, you knew, and then you knew the value in like asking me and then listening. I even said to Steve before you went, I said, you're in class. And normally in class, I know what you're like, you just want to roll. And like, hey, I was like, you're in class this time, and you were like asking me questions. And now people can ask questions, and you're like, oh, it's like, you know. I was like, you asked me questions. I was like, it's the perfect question to ask for this scenario. I was like, he was just spot on. Like he was just like dialed in on everything. I was like, and then I said, like, I saw you rolling. I was like, that's the best I've ever seen you roll. Like jiu-jitsu, I was like, it was great. And then, the questions you were asking me was just perfect. And like you said, it just somehow all came together in that shorter period of time. And like you're working with everybody like separately and then a little bit all together, but it all sort of, you didn't take on too much. You kind of thought what you needed to work on a little bit more and add. And it just all like, it happened.
Dialed in, you get dialed.
I'll leverage off that. So something that me and Steve spoke about is your maturity as a striker as well. So, and I'm not putting down anything you've done in the past, because obviously you're a very dangerous striker, but we're talking about minor things. So we're going to granular level. So like you dropped your hands at certain stages. You got, when you let your mental state get the better of you, you got very, I wouldn't call it sloppy, but you got a bit open in terms of striking. And the first thing I said to Steve, like I'd been out for a while, I went on holiday, I came back and I was like, first time I saw you sparring, I said, Steve, is like, he's matured so much as a striker. His hands are up. He's not like aggressive, just trying to go for gold. And then I obviously trained with you over the following weeks, henceforth after that. And the biggest thing I'd like to say to you, not to hype you up because you don't need it, mate, but I'm genuine, and Steve said the same, like your maturity as a striker has grown exponentially over the since I last saw you. And it showed in this fight, because you weren't just so open. And Jono previously might have taken advantage of your open gaps and stuff. But I saw you personally as a very matured striker. And you moved back, you circled certain small things that you did. Your kicks, like, who knew Aldin could kick, by the way? But jokes aside, like your overall striking, I was extremely impressed with. And Steve said the same. So it just shows how you've matured and like grown as a fighter in all aspects, striking, wrestling, you defend all the. So I'd like to just take full.
No, I appreciate that, and it's from the questions in the class of the jiu-jitsu or the maturity in the striking. A big thing comes down to as well, and like I say, I don't underestimate anybody, but put yourself out there and put into your brain. This is what I'm trying to instill to the boys. This person's trying to damage you and hurt you. Obviously, we know there's certain things, left hand low, there's certain things where it's not good enough. It's just not good enough. And you may have was saying to Sam earlier, you get away with it when you're knocking people out and you're athletic and you're talented, say, where I put a lot of work in. There's been years and years, over a decade of hard work, but talent takes you so far, but it doesn't take you to the top echelon of other people you're fighting against. So I try my hardest to listen and take in. I do drills to keep certain hand drills to keep your hands up, and the difference is whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's kickboxing, Muay Thai, you're getting flatlined. Like I said earlier, I've been flatlined and I've flatlined other people. I know what it feels like on both sides of it. I know what it feels like to be training and maybe you go out drinking a little bit or you enjoy your life a little bit too much, but you just can't do that at the level the guys are fighting at. You just can't. There's only one John Jones. You have to take everything serious, whether it's training, whether it's lifestyle, diet, the striking. I'm training with, like I say, Ashby, with Steve. There's strikers in here that can hurt you. Ashby, it's the same for you with the maturity of striking. You've risen one of the fastest martial arts people, kickboxing, boxing I've ever seen personally. And you've fought some top guys, and it's happened fast, very fast. So it's kind of the same thing without sucking each other off. It's the same thing back to you. Yeah, of course, which I've got no problem with that. But I'm just saying, if you want to later, let's do it. But you have to advance fast. We're not here for a very long time. We're not. We spoke, Steve. I'm not going to keep saying it. 37 years old. Now's the time to go. We can't be making mistakes. You said a few words with the gassing out in your cardio. I prize myself on cardio. I've never gassed out in a fight in my life. I've never been in danger with someone putting pressure on me without having the energy to defend. And I've seen it and I've been on the other side of it, so I know how important that is. Even if you see me, if it was a fourth round, hands down, we were working on range where if you're out of range, if you want to drop your hands, drop your hands. Yeah. If you want to getting up off the floor, the amount of output that's just been put out in the last 15 minutes is phenomenal. So it's not so much you're gassing or you're tired, you're just reserving your energy where you need it. Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to show, this is one thing with the younger guys, don't show anybody weakness. That's in life as well. You don't want to get too philosophical, but don't show weakness.
Your fight IQ was definitely right up on this fight. You're just everywhere, and that's the thing. I think it's all good for people to you can pinpoint stuff, and to get you better, everyone's going to be saying things I tell you all the time that you try and rush your submissions. I'm always telling you rush your submissions. And you're pretty much tapping every single person in the gym because you are you're bigger, you're stronger. And I said, but as soon as you get someone else like you, they're not going to tap to that. Yes. So now it has to be that extra bit. But it's all good for me. That's my job to tell you that, right? Yeah. So you could take that the wrong way and be I'm not the one in there fighting. You're in there. You got to learn everything. I'm saying that to you. Then on the other side, Ashby's saying something to you. Cam's saying something to you. Steve's telling you your hands down, and you could just easily be everyone just shut the... You get in there and fight. Me telling you, you're not finishing your submissions properly, Aldin, but that's that difference, isn't it? Yeah. You've got to take that on and go, okay, you got to do the best you can. That's my job, to pinpoint that one thing, and then you got to... And then after that session, you go off with Steve, and he's picking on something else. Yeah. You could easily break or get shitty or whatever from that. And then I also wonder, is that the difference? Are you saying the younger guys, you're saying you have to try and push them to go in for the finish, and some people, not all the people, but is that the difference though between someone with a championship mindset? I've always said this, when I talk to Joe, your brother-in-law, we talked to me and Joe talk in the past about you and stuff, and I'm but I always say, Aldin's got a championship mindset. I said that's what sets him apart. That's why he can push that further. That's why you can get back up off the floor and be aggressive. That's why you're going to come back with a knee that nearly killed you, or maybe killed you, we don't know. But it's that separates you. Not everybody has that. championship mindset. Some people could be like really good at fighting, really good like win fights and everything, but there's going to be a point, isn't there? That's why there is these guys that are at the top of the top, and they have that mindset. And then along with that, they need everything else that goes with it. They need to start at the right time. They need the time on their side. They need to avoid injury. They need, like, there's so many life experiences. It's not, there's so much that has to go into it.
So much. You don't understand how much goes into it. You can see from afar, and like you say, everyone wants to give you their 2 cents. The key, the difference of the maturity is, like I said in the very beginning, my natural response, Ashby come in, sat down and said, he said the word gassed, and instantly pissed me off. Yeah. I'm still pissed off now, if I'm honest. But I know you don't care, which is good, because when someone comes at me with something I don't like, my reaction is aggression. But to understand, this is what we've built a good team around us. We've all got individual goals. We're all working together for the same goal, with like different people, but we're all a team. Ashby could come in and say, he's already said sloppy, hands down, gas. There's a few trigger words there, but the key is, I see that it's from love, James. It's from love. It's. I want to go. Fuck you, I'm a fucking champion of Australia. I'll do what I want, but I'm only there because of the guys I have around me. From the time Steve puts in, from the time James puts in, Ashby, inside leg kick, hands down. Aldin, you shit today. I want to be like, fuck you. Like, look, you're telling me I'm shit. I'm thinking I'm ace. Maybe you are shit. Maybe you are. Here's a funny one. When you were just saying then, like, what makes you different? Championship mindset. I don't even think like this is the biggest one. I was telling my nephew just days ago. So weird. I feel in my head, failed. You failed at you fail at a lot of stuff. You fail so much that you have to be everything. I'm up at 4 o'clock every day, doing strength and conditioning, eating as healthy as I can. I always work off an 80%, 20%, 20% less healthy, 80% healthy. You have to have all this stuff in line just to be like, to be at all good. Never mind that 1% championship. Robin was saying the mental, the cardio, the endurance. You have to be so far ahead. The second, when I was younger, probably I'm thinking I'm going to be in the UFC. Same as some of the guys we know now. They're planning their life, but I've had that. I'm planning like, wow, UFC. I'm gonna be at the after party with like the ring girls, and we're gonna be doing this and all this crap and blah blah blah. And I'm like, you get grounded so fast, and I'm like, my life is perfect now. I've got the best wife, best teammates, son. Life is realistic, where you've had the ups, you've had the downs. You know what it feels like to have both of them, but you have to do everything right, and even still it can go wrong. I've had it go wrong when it all goes right. So there's nothing worse than doing everything right and it going so even worse. Sorry. Doing little things wrong, missing steps. I'll have some junk food today. I'll have a few beers today. But then when you lose and you go home and you're in your own head and go, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. How dare you think you can compete at a good level in anything, life, business, relationships, if you're not putting everything in? People put everything in and still fail. So if you're trying to just skim past things in life, you're just not going to get there. It's like it's impossible.
Right,
so 17.
Sorry, Steve.
Can we just finish the fight? I want to finish the end. So we finished the fight. I want to talk to the finish.
Okay.
Did you know that punch was going to land? Did you know?
Well, good question.
What did you think?
The finish of the fight. It's not so much the finish of the fight. It's the combination we've been working on a lot. We worked on it with you. We worked on it with Ashby. Worked on it. That was a combo that it wasn't that wasn't off the cuff. It was working in the fight and it worked on before the fight. Yeah. We've actually worked on it in previous fights. The same thing, finishing with the left hand instead of the more common finishing with your right hand. So we'd worked on it, and it was kind of to explain the finish of the fight mentally in my head was. It was an even fight. You don't know who's winning. I felt up on points, but you're in enemy territory. The crowd's booing you. The worst commentary I've ever heard in my life. As in, I knew before I went in, they've got an agenda. They've got a poster boy. They've got their local guy. They were telling me that people who were interviewing me before the fight, telling me that they train with him. They know his family. I'm like, well, there's going to be obviously. There's bias, then there's bias. Your dad's friends, whatever. So it's kind of don't rely on judges, don't rely on anything like that. So it's kind of that fourth round. He landed that head kick. I think he threw at least 6 or 7 head kicks, and I'm eating him on the arm, 2 arms and everything. Like we drilled. And that one so strange because my footwork was so good, pushing him to the left, foot on the outside. For that head kick, there was a split second where I stepped to that side, where most of the fight was so good, foot on the outside. I'm foot on the outside, then throwing, which was we worked on it, but you never know until you get in there and you're throwing bombs and limbs and things are cracking you. Keep to the game plan, step to the outside, throw your shots, and something happened. I lulled, and my hands came down a bit, and my head fully came out to the wrong side. Boom, at a head kick. Lucky enough, it was more foot than shin. But
so was it more because it was a big noise?
Oh, fuck that! That was a decent head kick.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'm
telling you, Jane, that you ate that so well.
I'm not playing it down because the knee was one of the most painful things I've had in a fight. I've had, like I say, Nick Wood was another fight. I've had a few fights where, even with adrenaline, even with being a reasonably tough person, high pain threshold, that knee hurt, that head kick hurt. And it was kind of the fourth round. You're in it. Look ago said the enemy territory. You need a finish. There's no. You could have been 3 rounds up. They're not going to give you a decision. You need to finish. He landed the head kick. It hurt so much, and it was like now's the time to go. It's either all in or nothing. We spoke about it before. We speak personally. We speak one-on-one. Like now's the time to go. That's the biggest thing you were talking about. The younger generation. They think they've got time. You think you've got time to I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Go now. You're going to regret not going now and putting everything in. If you're trying, don't get me wrong, we plan. We have a set plan of life, but it's never going to go how you want it to go. So be prepared for it to go not your way, but you're still driving forward. So the finish of the fight, I'm going on a bit there, but he hit me so hard, and I thought you have to go. You either accept it. If I had it kicked me, rock, fully flash, stars, the whole lot, flash bang. If I took a backward step, that's the beginning of the end of the fight. I can promise you. So he hit me, and my brain went. Which, like you said, some people don't have it, some people do. It's hard to train it, but you can train it. It was like go now. You either accept defeat in that split second. Bang, head kick, flush on the face, on the chin, bang. You either accept defeat and walk backwards and let him just put an onslaught on you, or you go forwards into the fire. It's kind of like, without sounding too important, because we're not that important, but it like military or armed forces. You walk forward to the sound of gunshots. You're trained to do that. Obviously, Steve, you're in the police force. Yeah. You're trained to under pressure, under fire. You walk forward. As a fighter, it's a part of it. I'm not saying we're military and we're saving the world, but you walk forward. When you get hurt and your natural reaction is to cower. Firefighter, you're in a house burning down. People are dying around you. Your job is to walk forward. You're trained to go into it. Where he landed the head kick, and I thought it's either now or nothing. And I just started marching forward. Reasonably sloppy, you'd say, hands down, but when I seen him take a backward step, then you can be a bit more, don't get me wrong, if he comes forward and we clash in the middle, then it's on, then your hands come back up, it's who gets caught.
And I want to interject that. It's worth saying I'm very proud of the fact that your inherent characteristic was to, so we saw that Steve saw you got kicked in the head, and like I come from Weta, and that was a decent head kick, and you just ate it like it was breakfast or another day. And most people will eat it and like look at their coach, or they'll do something like, oh shit, that was bad. You literally ate it, and it motivated you to walk forward. And I'm not just saying this like if you watch the video, like the reels you've posted, like you ate the head kick, and then about 7 seconds later, that's when you had him on the ground, knocked out. So in life, if maybe a lesson, I'm not getting too deep, but like there's two ways to take that. It's like you got hit with a head kick, you can be like, oh, I'll just circle out, like I'll just recuperate. But no, you literally took the head kick, and you watch the videos, you're like, okay, cool, that was tough. I acknowledge that, but I'm coming for you now. And you like, if you watch that, you literally took the head kick and you literally took 2 steps forward, and that's when you got the knockout.
Natural reaction.
I think that's worth noting to fans. Like you can take this 2 ways. Like you get hit with a hard shot, and it comes to that inherent feasibility of like, am I going to fight back, or am I just going to cop it, try and recuperate, and then fight back? And you were just like, I'll take that, but I'm coming for you now.
Yeah.
So I think for me that's important to just note, like that was clearly visible to see.
Which is perfectly perfectly worded. We spoke about it. We've had this conversation, tailing off a little bit off that, where you've hit the lowest of lows. You've been knocked out live on TV. It gets replayed constantly. So I know what that feels like. You get head kicked. I know what the other end of that looks like. So it's kind of, you have to walk forward. Like you said there, you touched on it. But it's life as well. It's life. We can all get hit hard. We do, which we do. There's always someone in a worse position than you. But walk forward into it. Go face forward and hit your problems head on. Obviously, we're talking about a fight. We're breaking down a fight. Head kick, worst possible outcome. 4th round. You're tired. You're sore. You're banged up. That's fight over. Whereas could be life over. Someone's hit you so hard, which has happened, and we know people personally and very close. Life is over. But if you just keep going, if you can see, if your eyes are open, if you can walk forward, then walk forward. There's nothing better, there's nothing worse than regretting. If I had to walk backwards, your natural reaction is you get hit, you go backwards. It's natural. Why would you not? You're not a psychopath, you're not a sociopath. But if you can train to go, okay, that's hit me so hard. If I'm sparring with people, if I hit you and you go backwards, that's the normal. That's what you want. That's what we should do. It's like your magnets, you're going back and forth. You hit me, I'll go back. If you can break that cycle of head kick, for example, head kick, walk forward. If you watch the video, the reaction of his body language, of he went bang, yes, commentator's going crazy. And then he sees me coming forward. It just broke him. I feel it broke him mentally. So he's tripping backwards. He did. Where he's like sideways, and then we're talking about I'm gaining momentum. Then it's all about momentum in life. You get hit down, you start to build back up, and you build that momentum. Fighting everything. It's all about momentum. You drive. It's a driving force of you're gonna get kicked. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get kick to the bottom, but then as soon as you start to come out, use that momentum. That's why it's like, I'm going to do this in a few months, I'm going to do this in a year. Do it now. Do it. Stop messing around telling me what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Do it. Just work hard now. Styles make fights. Rideout's a good fight. Jono was a good fight because he's a banger. He's a young, fit, confident. He's got wrestling, he's got jiu-jitsu, but he wants to fight. He's coming to finish her. There's certain people that don't. They're just trying to rack up wins. Where I'm over records and for me, fight of the night means more than my fight record. So knockouts, obviously that's what I want. But as long as we put on a good fight, it means more than the knockout. Yeah. If it goes to decision, but it's fight of the night, it's maybe not good advice to the young up and comers because I'm putting my life on the line and I'm fighting, but I enjoy it. Yeah. I enjoy it. That's maybe the difference of sport. It's a sport. It's a high level sport. We're all trying to make it as clean and as sport we can do, but it's a fight at the end of the day. You're coming to fight me. So from what I've learned, and as an older head and an experienced fighter, just speak from the heart. Speak from the heart. Like I can't wait. If I was better at videography, I want to cut a video of me at the press conference, that presser, saying, "There's no hiding what I'm going to do. I'm going to punch holes in you. Jono's going to punch holes through me." At the end of the fight, do you remember seeing us both at the